And this is something that's kind of been overlooked a lot in the communication that we're doing. So I'm going to cap off on some of the basics of making this happen. Now, back in the 1970s, Kodak spent millions of dollars on working out how effective communication actually occurs. And what they found was really interesting and probably quite counterintuitive to what most of us would think. So here's what they found. They discovered that 7% of any communication between two people was in the words alone. So just the words. So it's a bit like looking at that board with nothing else going with it, with me not standing here. So it's just the words. Then what they discovered was that the tonality of the voice of the communicator made up about 38% of communication. So if you were talking to someone, you could go, so how are you going? Or you could go, so how are you going? Notice the difference? Same two sets of words, but very different tonality. And finally, the last part is body language. 55% of communication. You notice when I came out to the camera how much more effective the communication was, because you're blasting more of their senses to get to the neurons in their brain and have a greater effect. Now this is why I've titled this video, Why Email Sucks. Because whenever you send an email, which part do you think is involved of these three in the communication process? Yeah, only one, 7% words. Even when you put your happy smiley faces and your LOLs and the WTFs, it still only represents 1% of the actual communication. And people buy from people they like. So if you're trying to sell somebody something, a communication via email can be a very cold, ineffective way to do it. So if you are communicating too much by email, I would suggest stop doing it because it's very impersonal. Pick up the phone, and if you do need to confirm things, do it in an email afterwards, because at least then you're going to get 45% communication occurring. You can get body language in your communication if you're on the phone by getting up and walking around. Some of that will actually transfer, but by far the best way to communicate with people is face-to-face and using your tonality and your body language that goes with it. So take a look at your own communication, stop sending so many emails, get on the phone, go and talk to people and make the most of this information. Thanks for watching. I'm Brad Flint.